Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Also from my side, it's really a privilege for me to talk to you this morning about some things, and what we're going to discuss is things that you are going to need when you enter schools on VIL, Work Integrated Learning, in July. So you're not going to attend to schools the first semester, but in July you're going to schools and you are going to work in classrooms. And I think there's quite a lot of things that you should know. And also in the slideshow that you are going to see this morning, there's also some information that you are going to need when you finish your studies here at the NWU. In other words, when you're going to enter a school and you're going to work in a classroom in the foundation phase. And now you will ask, but why this guy talking about 4 years or whatever? Because, no, it shouldn't be whatever, it should be 4 years. We don't want you longer than 4 years here because your mums and dads are paying you. And the 5th year is expensive, you know. That's only a joke. So, in other words, you will see that this 4 years, it's going like a flash. It's going to pass like a flash. So there's a lot of information, and if we have the time, and God bless us, then I will also see you in your 4th year. Then you're going to get comparative education here in this room. So then maybe at that time, I will talk to you again about this because it's quite important. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to watch this slideshow. Actually, it's got a sound backtrack as well, but if for some reason it doesn't want to work this morning, but in any case we can go through the slides. It's actually a true story. It's a true story, and the ladies, if you want to take out your handkerchief or your tissue or whatever, I think maybe it's a good time to do it now. So enjoy it. Stars are there. So please, out of more or less the same situation in your life. I don't know you. But what I know from my experience, sooner or later, maybe in your 1st year, maybe July, maybe in your 10th year that you teach, whatever, whenever, you are going to face things like this. And then you're going to deal with it. Because it is a privilege for us to be a teacher. Why? Because we can change the lives of other people to their own benefit and to the benefit of others. That is what been expected from a foundation phase teacher. Foundation phase teachers, I like them a lot because you've got a touch in a class that some other teachers say, you're not going to gossip about this outside the doors, you're not going to tell the other students, because I'm a lecturer of other students as well. You don't gossip, ne? Right? Foundation phase teachers, you've got a touch. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of this. Because you are going to be the first one when the school structure is going to start with, or the school levels are going to start with children. Maybe you're going to be the first one that face problems like this, but that's enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about some things that you are going to face when you are when you're busy with VIL, or when you are going to be a 1st year teacher. So the slides, some of them you're going to say, but why is he telling us this now? But believe me, you are going to need it someday. And maybe it can be needed in July when you enter the schools. What to know in the beginning? Not as a 1st year teacher, educator, but also as a 1st year student when you enter the system in a class. You must remember this well. That's why I'm asking that question. By law, by the SA Schools Act, you are part of the system. When you stand in a class as a student teacher, and something happened in that class, then you are responsible. That's why we should know some things, like I don't want you to get into or step into a pitfall that we are going to talk about later on. What is the outcomes of this little conversation? And really, ladies and gentlemen, the other students, they were just sitting there. I don't know, maybe they're afraid of school principals. We're not nasty people at all. I don't think so, especially me, believe me. But you're welcome to ask questions and recommend something or whatever. We have to take hands as teachers. If you think you are going to stand alone in a class and you are going to do your own thing on your own way, then you are in for a big surprise. In a school, in an organization that I'm going to talk to you about just now, all of us, we take hands to make it work. We're going to talk about some code of conducts, role models in your school, discipline, communication, or documentation, pitfalls that I talked about, and marketing and reporting. This is a summary of what's happening in the school. If you don't take the hands of your colleagues, if you don't take the hands and use the hands of your parents and your learners in your class, then you will find yourself in a position that you are going to stand alone. And that's not where you want to be. So in a system, in a school system, you are there to work together with other people. I don't want to get into a very academic discussion, but I think it's maybe just good for you to understand this. What is an organization? Organization is a structure, and it consists of staff, humans. There's tasks to be done. There's aims. There's a line function of authority. There's influences. There's activities. There's discipline, and there's responsibilities. This is an organization. And you don't have to take too much notes. If you wish, I will, through Prof. Charisma, I'll put it for you on Ifundi. So then you can have the slides. Rather sit and relax and listen. Culture, organizational culture and organizational climate. The one that I want to emphasize is the organizational climate. The climate is, in short, how you experience your working life or your work life and your situation in the school. What makes you happy or unhappy? Unhappy educator, grade 1, grade 2, like in Teddy's case, that educator will not be possible for that educator to help children in need or even to teach children. That educator will not cope in a school. So therefore, it is very, very important that you are happy. And the things that you are going to experience in the school that must make you happy. And therefore, you have to talk. You must remember, I told you, we take hands. You're part of a structure. You're part of organization. Therefore, God gave us mouths to talk and say, but these things make me unhappy, and these things make me happy. Very important. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a profession. Why? Why can we say that we are in a profession? Because it's a specific group people that we are going to work with. It's a specific group. And to work with that specific group, in your case, foundation phase learners, grade R to grade 3, we have to give you here at the NWU a specific or specialized information, knowledge, skills to work with these kids in your field. So you are going to specialize in your field. That's why we are a profession. and not just some kind of work where you go and fix something, you get paid there on the spot and you go home. No. You are going to work with specific people. Not to step into unfortunate pitfalls, you must know something about code of conduct. As teachers in your 4th year, we are going to register you at the South Africa Council of Educators. Their offices are in Pretoria. We're going to register there. You are not allowed to stand in a class without the registration of SACE. Even myself, we are registered educators at SACE. That's why also I said we are a profession. And in that SACE document, and the SA Schools Act, in that www.sace.org.za, you can go to that website and you will find the code of conduct for teachers or educators. You will see there's a specific way that we have to treat our children or our learners. There's a specific way that we have to treat parents or the community, and also our employer. I'm going to talk to you about that just now. There's a school policy that also will explain in a school what's been expected from you as a teacher or a young first-year student there. There's a code of conduct in your school policy for educators and also for learners. What's been expected from you as an educator, what's been expected from your learners, as your learners in the class, how they must treat you. It's always good to read minutes, especially in your first year of teaching. Go through old minutes, the previous year's minutes, and see what's been said and how things are working here in this specific school that you are going to be in. Know your school community. I'm going to talk about that just now. And there, I want to ask you, before going on, who do you see as role players? Different role players in a school community. Who's role players? Who are we working with? Here's the first one, the Department of Education. It's a very important role player in our lives. Who else? Who else do you think? Yes, ma'am. Sorry? The school governing body. The school governing body is a very important role player. Must I put on the sound, or am I audible? There at the back. Must I put on the sound? Not necessary. All right. Who else? The parents, for sure. They're part of role players. Then who else? The most important. The learners. The learners. They're all role players. We are going to work with them. Like you said, the school governing body, the parents, the learners. And we mustn't forget the hands, the take hands, our colleagues. Our colleagues, also role players. The management team of the school. The management team consists out of the school principal, his deputy principal or principals, the head of departments. More or less all the schools, we've got 4 or 5 head of departments, 1 or 2 deputy principals. Then also we get phase leaders. In your case, you will have a phase leader or a subject leader specially assigned in the foundation phase. And then also two very important role players that we don't think always about. The social partners. In the Department of Education, we talk about social partners. Social partners can be, in the community, the church, or church leaders. Some business community. And that's why I told the other group as well. It's good to know these business people, because sometimes you will find yourself in a situation that your principal will say, you know, you're responsible for netball activities or coordinating the netball teams, but you cannot buy 50 new netball balls this year because of budget constraints. Then you can go, and it doesn't stand anywhere, not in SACE, not in the Code of Conduct for Teachers, nowhere you will find it. But in inverted comma, we can say it's been expected from us then to go to the community or to a business partner as a social partner and ask them, you know, I can only buy 10 balls, 10 netball balls. If we put your business badge or your logo on the ball, don't you think you can sponsor me the other 40? And you will find yourself and say, yes, if you put my logo on the ball and I get some little bit, that people see me around, then I will sponsor. That we call social partners. And then also, like I said, community leaders. All of them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is probably the most important part of this discussion, is how we manage our classroom. 90%, even it can be more, 90% of your job description in July, or when you enter the system in your first year, when you start to teach, is going to be about how you manage your classroom. Now, to answer that, you must have respect in your classroom. I forgot to tell the other group as well. You know what? Sometimes we see teachers in the class, they've got class rules. It's been expected from a teacher to have class rules. They paste it there, put it on a poster there on the board or wherever, big, nice, and then I count them. When I go for a class visit, I count them. 20 class rules. And normally, I will ask the children in this class, you can tell me what's your class rules. Don't look at the class rules. Then there's maybe one or maybe two that will tell me we're not allowed to eat in the class, or we're not allowed to talk in the class. How can you teach children that cannot talk in the class? Wow. You know what? And then I learned it. Prof. Charisma, you won't believe me. I learned this thing of one of my first year educators. The head of the department, that specific, it was a foundation phase, coming from this university. And in the fourth year, she got the National Teachers Awards on national level. And I learned something from this first year educator. I asked her, where's your class rules? Because now I've got a little tick, a list to tick off. You mustn't be afraid of principles. They're not terrible. Some of them. Then you tick off, where's the class rules? And she said, there. I said, no, I don't see it. She said, but there's it. It says class rules. But I said, but the only class rule. The only rule that she had in her class was we respect each other. And I sat down and I thought, no, I'm not going to give her a tick here with this because there's no class rule. And then I sat and thought, if you say there must be respect in your class, we're going to respect each other. Will you eat while you are talking to me? Will you bump other children or disturb other children or make noise? Or even when you have to submit an assignment next week to Prof. Charisma and you respect her, will you even think of it not to give you to hand in your assignment? Why? Because you respect her. My philosophy in life is I first respect other people, then I expect from other people to respect me back. Maybe that's, if there's only one thing that you can learn from me. To manage your classroom, you must be prepared. That grade R little boy in your class, in 2 minutes' time, he will be able to tell you, you're not prepared. You don't know what to say to us. They won't say it because they will respect you, I know that. But in his mind, he will say, or this afternoon to his mother, his teacher, is lekker dom. Ladies and gentlemen, our clothing, our body language, our face expression, our language, our habits, after each and every sentence, ne, or you're going to kill your children. At 12 o'clock in the day, they will just sit there. Ne. Don't do that. Don't have funny habits. In my career, I had to I had to talk, and I felt so very, very embarrassed. It was a young teacher in my school, and while we're busy with the prize giving awards at the end of the year, maybe I should have had a talk with the staff about it, but I didn't. I thought they will know better. And this teacher of mine, a very good teacher, very nice teacher, actually a friend of mine, was chewing a chewing gum while handing over the certificates to the children. I don't have to tell you what I thought of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this last to social media and your social life. Social media is your Facebook or your WhatsApp or whatever. When educators applied for a post or a vacancy at my school, I will always tell the governing body, listen, just enter the cell phone number of this educator on your cell phone and check for me what is the WhatsApp picture. I can tell you a lot about yourself on a WhatsApp picture. If you take my cell phone number, and it's available, it's in front of my office, then you will see I love nature. There's a big elephant and the sun at the back. I can tell you a lot about yourself if I just look at your WhatsApp picture and what is going on in your Facebook. Be careful. Probably last year, I don't know, maybe the beginning of the year, 10 years back, I don't know, you decided to become a teacher. Maybe your parents are teachers, I don't know. You said, I want to be an educator. I want to educate children. I want to be responsible for children. I don't want to be anything in life, in my case, really, that's the truth. Don't want to be anything else. I want to be an educator. I will always be an educator. But when you said that, when you have decided to become an educator, ladies and gentlemen, there was a little change there in your social life. As educators, we are not allowed to do some things that other people in other occupations will be able to do. Like for swearing, have big parties. And this one I must tell you, 99% of my life I dress like this, with long pants, shirt. When I was a principal, maybe I should do it here again. Every day I had to wear a tie. And I love to dress up. I'm not pretty, I know. At least my mother could dress me pretty. And this 3 students, two lady students and 1 man, came to me the other day last year in Spa. But you know what, in South Africa and especially in Potchefstroom, it gets up to 42 degrees in the summer, especially November, December. I don't know where you're coming from, but you can believe me. And I was dressed in short pants and plakkies. What do you call plakkies in English? Plakkies. And I don't know, because I've got 723 students, I don't know all of their names, but I know the faces. And I saw them, and they came towards me, and they greeted me, and how are you, sir, and so and so and so. And normally when I talk to you and I greet you, I look you in the eyes, but they were not looking in my eyes, they were looking at my legs and watch what we are doing and saying. At once I had to ask one of my lady teachers, please to leave because of the language next to the netball field. We don't want that. Whatever you do, July, the children, the role players, your colleagues, the other students must say, and the parents as well, especially, you know what, that first year student, she's in control. I don't want you to go to Ville and you stand there in the classroom and the educator will tell the principal, you know what, this first year student of mine, oh man, she actually doesn't know a thing at all from school. I don't know what is she doing for 6 or 7 or 8 months at the university. We don't want that. Be in control. Be in control. If you're going to a school in a system, you enter the system in your first year of teaching, and you don't have a mentor, then you will find yourself in a very bad spot. I'm 31 years in education, and as I'm standing here at this university, I've got a mentor. When I entered higher education system last year, the 1st of June, so I'm not long here, I'm also still new, I looked for a mentor. And I appointed myself a mentor. And I'm phoning this mentor at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And I hope he doesn't think I'm embarrassing him or whatever. But you must have a mentor. So therefore, you must choose your mentor wisely. Because that is the person who's going to give you advice. That's the person who's going to give you advice when you ask for help. So, in other words, be critical. And as this mentor will also be a human being, please control what he or she is telling you. Just make sure that's the right thing to do. Very important. Some important documents. The reason why I'm telling you this, I don't want you in July, the teacher in the classroom ask you, will you please quickly bring me my timetable or the register of the children in the office. And then you go and you don't know what is a register, and you bring a cup of tea. Then she's going to tell the principal, I don't know what are they teaching the students there at the university. You must know these things. Your timetable. There's a timetable in the class. CAPS actually prescribe very nicely, in detail, what must happen in a school day, what and when. When do you assessment, what, on that timetable. And then also your service timetable. You must know that. Okay, maybe I should leave that. The register, your year plan, your job description or your job agreement, as they call it, your subject files. That's the one where you're going to put in your CAPS documents. They're very, very strict about the CAPS documents. When you get a visit from your lecturers in a class or whatever, the lecturer is going to ask you, where's your CAPS document? Your personal file. You know what, the personal file, these days the staff, they don't do a lot of, they don't go through a lot of trouble to compile a personal file, and it's very sad for me because a personal file is very important. When do you start to compile your personal file, ladies and gentlemen? Now, thank you, ma'am. What's your name?
Nicole.
Sorry?
Nicole.
Nicole, you're going to pass for sure. Nicole said, her personal file is starting right now. When you're going to be on the student board or the student council or the educators board at the university, or you do what with the netball or the hockey or whatever, I don't know if you're going to play rugby, but in any case, if you play rugby as well, then you must put it in your personal file. Because when you enter the system, the principal is going to ask you your CV. And instead of that, give you the personal file. It tells all about you. It's good to have that and start to compile it down. You will have the school policy, documentation. You can ask the teacher that you are with about that. There's some other one. Your appointment documentation. When you're going to be appointed after your 4th year at the school, you're going to receive an appointment or a contract. You must keep that. All departmental circulars and documentation, please keep that. Parents' letters. The way that the principal is communicating with his parents or the parent community is through parents' letters and through SMS system, the computer system. Read those parents' letters and read those SMSs, because then also you can be reminded of important things that you maybe missed. That's why I'm putting it. And like I said previously, look at the minutes, at least the previous year's minutes. And then there's other documentation that they will also explain to you when you enter the system. Pitfalls. The other group I said, I thought it was actually potholes, but then somebody told me it's not potholes, it is pitfalls, because the only difference between the potholes and my swimming pool, the potholes are deeper. Ladies and gentlemen, be very, very much careful when you enter friendships at school. I am not saying that you are not able or you're not allowed to have friends at schools, or colleagues, friends, or parent friends, or whatever the case be. But listen to this one. And I'm not going to explain it a lot, I'm just going to say it and you will understand it. Nicole, you will understand what I'm going to say. Now you've got this friendship, relationship between yourself and some parents that the kids are in your class, or the kid is in your class, one. And you will find yourself in a situation, you know, the mother will tell you, you know what, Nicole, last week we had this nice bridesman, and you visited us, and we actually went through a lot of trouble to have you here at our house and have a nice meal and whatever. But now on Monday, we saw that at least 5 or 6. And ladies and gentlemen, this can happen. This can happen. That's why I said, be very careful. When you end, I'm not saying you cannot have friends. Remember the hands. But just be careful. It happened. I saw it happened. Little Yanni is sitting there in front, and you see, but Yanni is not doing his work. Okay? You're going to be Sunny. And Sunny is not doing her work. And you just go to Sunny and you say, Sunny, start to work now. You know what can happen? Sunny is going this afternoon because Sunny was embarrassed in front of the class, and Sunny maybe don't like you at all or whatever. Sunny is going to tell Sunny's mother this afternoon, just look how sore my arm is. The teacher beat me up on my arm and nearly killed me. I think my arm is not going to operate again. For the rest of my life, I'm going to walk like this with a broken arm. My teacher broke my arm on me. Don't make physical contact. What I'm teaching you now is against any education training. The psychologists in our faculty, very good friends of mine, will tell you, you must forget what that little man, short round man, taught you on the 21st, 22nd. You must make physical, as human beings, we are physical people. We like physical contact. Be just very careful when you touch children. In my opinion, stay away from it. This one is also a difficult one. Why am I saying it's difficult? You know what? This boy, this girl want to have a conversation with you, and teacher, I want to close the doors and things. I want to be careful. You will immediately find yourself in a situation where you see, but this is a very sensitive talking what's going on. Rather tell that child, or as a matter of fact, that parent want to close doors. Listen, you know what, I see this is a sensitive conversation, or this is going to be a sensitive conversation. You know, I'm not that bright. I think we must just go to the other teacher next door and call her so that we can, both of them, sit and listen what you want to say. I'm not saying that little Yanni want to tell you, you know what, we hunted last weekend and I shot my first buck or whatever the case. I'm not saying that. But if you see it's a sensitive conversation, rather have somebody with you. You get my drift? Yes. When we work with money, there's specific rules and regulations in your school policy. when you work with money. Even in July, when there's maybe a fundraising in your school, and the teacher will ask you, listen, please, you take the money. Be very careful. Nobody must point a finger and say, but you know what, I gave my teacher the 10 rand for the whatever, and she didn't tick my name. Make sure when you work with money, stick to the rules. This is a very serious pitfall. I think this is the fast way that you can get out of the system. You know, I love children, eh? I think you can see it. I love children. But you know what? They can make you very angry. Okay, let's just be very sensitive when you make remarks. You must remember, colleagues, you are going to sit in a classroom with 20 or 25 children, especially in the foundation phase, and that children is coming out of diversity of cultures, backgrounds, homes, whatever. Maybe single parents, maybe we call them child parenting. That you hear about that, child parenting. So be very careful when you make remarks in a classroom. Be very sensitive. And that's why I said you must know classroom management, you must know your learners. This is the second, I think, or maybe the even fast way to get out of the system. If they can find you guilty on you not delivering the curriculum, you are going to be fired. So make sure that you follow CAPS and make sure that you are exactly doing what they expect you to do. If they find you guilty, the department will just inform the governing body, because the governing body at that time maybe will be your employer. The department will just say, do a follow-up, see if it's true, and if it's true, dismiss. Your social life, I've talked about that. In my career, I had 2 lady teachers coming from this university. In the first year, they were first-year students in my school, and I asked the teachers, how's the students doing? Is hulle oulik? And then they will tell me, yes, they're very lovely students, especially those 2 first-year students. And then I think it was in the 3rd year they were coming again to my school. And the next year, in the 4th year, I phoned them, because I asked their CVs, and I asked them, listen, do you want a post next year? Do you have already a post? Because I've got a vacancy. And both of them, I appointed them in my schools. Why? Because they start to market themselves in the first year. How do you market yourself? Be present. In all the activities, be there. Be involved. In July, please do that. Go that extra mile. I know maybe the car that you're traveling, your transport is going to leave or whatever the case. But just ask your teacher, listen, I see this, okay, in July you're going to have netball and you're going to have hockey in the primary schools. Can I maybe help you? I want this afternoon come, even if you cannot play netball, just carry around the netball balls. But just be involved. Ask if you can help. Provide help, like I said. Your social skills. Be friendly, be nice. Be a person that the staff will tell the principal, because all of us, we are doing that. We ask, how's it going with the students? The staff must tell the principal, you know what, this one and this one and this one. Or in my case, lots of times, especially coming from this university, they're nice people. They should be in education. Your CV. You built on your CV, Nicole, from the first day. And from today, you built your CV and your personal file. Your presence, your language, your preparation. And remember, you must be in control. You must be professional. Remember that slide. Market the things that you're able to do. If you're a brilliant netball player, or maybe you sing in your church choir, or whatever the case may be. All of us, we sit here with brilliant talents. Go and show the people in the school, but you know what, I've got this talent, and I can share it in the school. Ladies and gentlemen, and that's near the conclusion. We've got a very, very big responsibility towards our learners and our children. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we have to report all things that you see that is against the rights of a child or even a colleague. You have to report it. If a child tells you, you know what, man, you're a student, you lie. The children, normally they like the student teachers. I want to tell you something that's happening with me at home. You have to report it. Why? By law. You remember right in the beginning I told you, you're part of the staff. And if a child reports something that's bad happening, maybe hit or whatever the case may be, assault, and you do not report because you don't want to get involved, and it goes through and it gets much more, and it be reported to the principal is going to ask the child, did you report it? That's the first thing that I always, did you report it to somebody else? Yes. To who? To the student teacher in my class. He's going to call you in and he's going to ask you, okay, this child said he or she reported, is it the truth? Yes, sir. Okay, to who did you report? Nobody, I don't want to be involved. You can be charged for that. You can be charged for that. Because you're part of the professional staff, although you're a student, you're part of the professional staff at that school. You have to report it to your educator that in the class, to the head of the department, to the vice principal or the deputy principal, or to the principal. And you must also have a paper trail, make notes about what this child, if it's serious, I'm not saying something small, but if it's serious, this child, the parents are beating up this child, just look at the blue marks. Yeah, I don't have blue marks, my wife is, she's careful these days. So have a paper trail. Have a paper trail. Because you are making notes. It's important. Do a follow-up. If you see there's nothing being done. Last year I had this conversation with fourth year students in the hall next door. And I heard big things going on in the schools. You have to be very careful. And even if there's nothing being done at school level, then you go to the police or the welfare or the child protection unit of the police and you report these matters. Because you remember that slide with that lovely little eyes. They are in our hands. And then the last thing, don't get emotional involved. Be professional. Help the child, but don't get emotionally involved. Because that is going to have a negative impact on the organizational climate of the school. Sorry. Then you will find yourself in a situation you don't want to go to school anymore because you get emotionally involved. Now, if you know my personality, then you will tell me, you know what, you're the last one on earth that should teach us this. I get very quickly emotionally involved with the problems of children. And that is one of my things, charisma, that it actually, that is actually what happened. Sometimes I felt, but you know what, I am giving my whole life for education and children. Maybe sometimes I left my own child behind to give to others, but that is why you said yes to this job. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and strongs with your career. It will go well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it really has been a privilege to have Dr. Foss give you this crash course, because that is what it is. But there is so much valuable information here. And one of the things that you'll get to know in all your other courses too, one thing that a teacher has to do is to make quick judgments and decisions on her feet. Every single day you have to make a call for some or other thing. And the last one I think is really very important, the emotional one. I'm also one of those. We cry easily, and you will have the question of physical contact versus emotional. And you're going to have those little ones. They're only so small, and they're all going to cling. You should see the first week of school with the little ones, how they cling to teachers' dresses. Okay, it looks like she's carrying a little mongoose with all the little babies. Okay, and I told you last week as well, they get to love you, and these are the decisions you have to make. Are we going to use that child? No, we were told no contact. So it's decisions you have to make. So the lecture you were presented with this morning really is very important, and there's so much valuable things, and this is where you learn to become. I told you, this is where we link you to practice, to the reality. Taking away from, okay, this is the theory that we give you, but how do you put that into practice in the reality? And this is the one module where all these things you're going to be confronted with. So I think we can say thank you very, very much to Dr. Foss for giving you this very valuable information and providing you, opening your eyes, creating awareness for a lot of important things. Right. Thank you very much. Enjoy.